Elevating the news. This is 6035 Media.
The 6035.
Hey everybody, I'm Bryan Grossman, executive editor here at 6035 Magazine. This is the 6035, the weekly show that recaps everything you need to know in the news. Guests in studio today are food editor Matthew Schniper and managing editor Helen Lewis. And we're talking about yaks.
We are. It's not that funny, guys.
Well, it's just the easiest intro of
It's just a furry animal, that's all.
Welcome everybody to the 6035. You're supposed to say, oh, thanks for...
Oh, yeah, well, no, it's so good to be here.
Yeah, there we go.
To talk about yaks.
Yaks.
With you both.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Matt, why are we talking about yaks?
Well, I happened to discover a herd of them in Divide. Now, let me change that word. I'm sorry. Discover sounds very pioneering.
Yep.
They've been there a while. I just happened to find out about it recently. People have been driving by them on the highway. You can see them from the highway just before you get to like Paradox Brewing up on the hill there. They're on the left. You can see
Teller
this land.
County. Teller
County, yeah. You're going to see cows, and then people have started to notice these shaggy or furrier creatures that are really cute. Those are the yaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually Double Eagle Ranch, and there's a company called PBJ Cattle Company that are running yak and beef on that land. That land is part of the Palmer Land Trust, so it's protected for forever and ever, which is really cool. It's about 1,000 acres. You can see Pikes Peak on the horizon behind it. It's beautiful land. There's some county land. There's another farm. There's like a little housing development behind it. But that stretch right there is just really awesome high-altitude grassland, somewhere around a little over 9,000 feet. And that is actually what I came to learn is the perfect altitude for yak because they come from the Himalayas. They run them there in the Tibetan Plateau, and they are uniquely adapted for high altitude. In fact, I was told they don't do well below like 6,000 feet or so at the wrong season. They actually can't live at that altitude. It'll be way too hot for them. They're so uniquely adapted to high altitude that like their lungs are even twice as big. Their organs are bigger, things like that. I came to learn a lot about these animals. I would like to consider myself an expert. Yeah. So ask me anything about yak.
Yeah.
Actually, please don't. I'll refer you to...
What is the gestation period for a...
Yes, I will refer you to Jessica Burton and her dad, Bob. They're the owners of PBJ Cattle Company, who I met, and they are the two that are running these animals. And what's really cool, too, they're using humane practices that were developed by Dr. Temple Grandin. She's the world-renowned autism expert, and she also designed all the slaughterhouses and things to make them more humane. So they took her blueprints to design their ranch and facilities. So honestly, I know this sounds like silly or cliche or something, but these look like really, really happy animals. Yeah. Like ridiculous. We drove up in this little side-by-side and got out. No, we didn't take horses. I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted to ride up on horses, I'll be honest with you, but we took the side-by-side. And the animals just came right up to it. They knew we had little treats with us, and they were just all over. It was great. Like they were, all around us. We could just hand them little treat cakes, some little nutrients or whatever. They would take them right out of our hand. And there was this one cow. It's in the story. You can read about it. But this one cow named Pumpkin, who was like a lap dog, I swear. She just came right up and would just brush up against you. I was trying to take pictures. She kept nuzzling my camera. And you could hug on her. You could pet her. You could, pet her face, all that. She was just like adorable. Like I've never had such a unique personal interaction with a cow before. And I left being like, can I take this one home with me? Can you just drop her off? Like I'll watch TV with her tonight or something. I mean,
so that one's a cow, not a yak.
That's a cow, not a yak.
They hang out together.
They do hang out together.
I was going to ask if you meant a yak cow.
Do they
call them different things?
Again, I'm going to refer you to Jessica.
With the gestation.
I don't know about that. But they do hang out together. There's even a couple like Longhorn and other breeds there that are sort of like protective cows for the herd. But what I came to learn was that they'll graze the beef first. They want to come in and eat the nice, fresh, sweet grass, and then they'll take the yak in behind them to eat up all the weeds and other stuff that the cows didn't eat. So there's a nice little synchronicity going on there, or synergy for the land. It's better for the land where Jessica was telling me they're trying to get rid of invasive grass species. So the yaks are actually going to help with that. They're going to mow down all that stuff, kind of like the goats they bring in every year to do like Bear Creek Park or whatever, similar to that. So yaks aren't picky. I guess their diet is so limited in the Himalayas that they'll eat just about anything. See, I have learned that about yaks. So they like this area. What is it outside today? Like 20s, really windy, not pleasant. I was walking downtown. Yeah, my face hurts still. That's the perfect weather for these guys. They love it up there when it's super cold, bitter cold. And so, yeah, they're just extremely hardy creatures. They actually are smaller than cows. All that extra bulk you're looking at is actually just the fur and all the extra stuff.
Did you say too that they don't sweat? Did
I read that they don't really have functional sweat glands. Which is why, again, they can't live at low altitude.
About the cold.
But what I thought was really cool about this story, so we did this when we did our State of Plate episode 5. We talked about local food, the importance of buying local, environmental, sustainability, all those aspects of the local production. And that was really what was exciting for me to learn about this was we have this awesome product coming just right up the hill. And I suspect we're going to see this on more menus soon when chefs find out about they could be getting this at a competitive price point. And this meat is unique. That's part of the story I spent talking about, just the difference between yak and beef. Everyone's going to want to know, what does it taste like? I read a lot about the nutrition. So right off the bat, it's 40% more protein than beef by volume or whatever, high in omegas and low in cholesterol and saturated fats and triglycerides. So they're calling it a very heart-healthy, lean meat. And in every way we handled it, I took some samples down and cooked with the chef, which is in the story. The whole time you're handling this, you just know it's a very different product. So my idea was I reached out to James Africano at the warehouse. Reason being, he's really worked with game a lot in the past. He worked at Ted Turner's ranch down in New Mexico. So I just said, hey, can I bring this by? Let's cook, let's play in the kitchen. And he was game for it. Game, yeah. You see, the gamey is the first impression. Everyone says, is it going to be gamey? And apparently,
I just assume it would be, but it's not. Yeah.
No. When I first tried it at this food truck, which is where I discovered it at Woodland Park, called Margaret's Munchies, and that is also in the story. My first impression was a bit kind of like bison, again, because it's very lean. And I think the bison's a sort of fair comparison on that point. But it's also described as sweeter. That's like a word I've seen a lot of people use in relation to yak. Don't think about cloying sweetness. We're not talking about your morning latte or anything like with candy on it. Like, it's just that finished flavor has a little bit of that. We use the word sort of like musty, grassy. There's something a little bit different there, not off-putting at all. And I guess that finish flavor, it just has, it's elusive. It's hard to like pin down the exact terminologies for this. But anyway, when I cooked with Chef James, the moment you pull the meat out of the package.
You made burgers.
Yeah, we made burgers, ribeye, and filet. And so looking at each product just as they were, the yak meat was easily identifiable because it's super pink on the plate. Just like a really almost like purplish pink, like just very bright. And we have some pictures, I think, on the story or online with this. Even on the grill, you can notice a difference. It doesn't take on grill marks because unlike the beef where it's like sweating a lot of fat out, which then caramelizes and makes those grill marks, it's so lean, it doesn't really sweat much. It doesn't lose any moisture. So there's no grill marks. And it's important if you go buy this, which you can at the ranch or at Ranch Foods Direct, you can pick up some of this. If you're going to cook with this at home, the advice is cook to temperature, not to color, because you're going to be confused and you're going to think, oh, it's so rare right now, and you're going to overcook it. Yeah, exactly. So even off the grill, once we started to cut into pieces, like just don't let the color fool you. Again, if you look at the picture we have in the story, it's so bright and pink. It looks very, very rare. It's not. It's super delicious. And so, yeah, between a filet, a ribeye, and some ground beef, we just tested all the different, textures and flavors and so forth. Had a lot of fun with that. And I will tell you, the one secret we learned was if you are going to do burgers with this, blue cheese all the way. There's something really magical that happens with that like funkiness that's in a blue cheese that pairs with that, let's just say yakkiness. Yeah, and it's just this brilliant flavor. And that was, I'll give credit, credit to James Africano on that one. As we were experimenting with it, he threw that sandwich together. And actually on that particular example too, he put some like pineapple relish,
there was some pineapple
red onion. Yeah, so you had this like sharp, sweet funk yak. incredible burger. Like I told them, just put this on the menu.
Yeah.
people will come here for this. Super good. So yeah, that's the yak.
The gist?
Flavor. Yeah.
Helen, have you had yak?
I have not had yak.
No.
I've had a lot of other animals, but not yak.
Go on. What have you had?
Emu, kangaroo.
Yeah.
Cool.
I kind of had crocodile. I don't think that's legal. It must have just been alligator.
We're going to edit that out, the illegal part.
She's poaching crocs
She's endangered
on
panda.
the north end of town. Yeah.
right. Helen, quit eating endangered animals. Gosh, we've gone over this.
They are tastier, Matt.
Yeah, that's true. It's the whole illegal
Forbidden
part.
fruit thing, yeah.
Right.
Have you had yak?
Yeah.
I've not had yak.
I
no.
want to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and now I
It
do.
sounded good.
Yeah, it's super. It's so again to help out our listeners and readers. You can go to Margaret's Munchies, which is the food truck
What'd
in
you
Woodland
get
Park. Steak sandwich and a burger. You can also buy ground yak at Ranch Foods Direct at either of their markets. I think if you go to McGinty's and Divide, you can get a grass-fed beef burger from the ranch. And then there's a few other places we list in the story where you can buy retail. You can also contact the ranch directly and go up and pre-order and kind of set an appointment and pick up all kinds of steak cuts from yak and beef. And there's a choice between grass-finished or grain-finished beef. And so, yeah, anything you want that way. Prices are pretty competitive. We went down sort of a list, and Jessica was telling me she likes to price it based off USDA and go below that. So she tries to really give it value. And this summer coming up, they will be at farmers markets, and that's also listed in the story. So you're going to see them around town more often, and people can pick up things there as well.
Any idea if they're okay with people checking out the ranch? Are they pretty open to
That's a great
doing what you
question.
did, or any
I don't think anyone's going to. I'm not. I shouldn't speak for them. It's possible if you're really really polite, maybe you'll get to go feed the animals. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're going to do some farm tours coming up. I think they mentioned they might want to do some dinners with chefs, that kind of thing, or do their own dinner, a little open house thing. I would just encourage anyone who's interested to go make friends, go buy some product, check it out, and befriend them and see where it goes. But I can't answer that question just off the top of my head yet.
what else are you working on right now?
In relation to yaks?
No, not
or
yaks, just in general.
Just in
What should
general?
people know about Matt?
I've been told there's an insider guide coming out.
You probably shouldn't say that on the air.
I probably should not say that on the air. I'm just making my usual list of new and upcoming places. Just a few minutes ago, I walked down to Bloom Ultra Lounge, which is about to open right next to Shrunken Head Tiki Bar under Bell Brothers Brewing, little subterranean thing. It's their soft opening tonight, and the guys told me it is an ultra lounge.
Which means...
you know what? I don't know. It's an ultra lounge. We're going to find out.
Oh, Ultra Lounge.
Right. So whatever that exactly means, we're going to find out. I will say I've got a picture on Instagram on my page. We can share it to the 6035 or something. But there's a ton of flowers, fake roses. They're not. You couldn't put up that many real roses. It'd be horrendously
Dead by the time
expensive
you were done.
and
Yeah,
dead.
okay.
The whole thing is just flowers and bright and pretty. I don't know yet what it's exactly going to be, but they had a delayed opening like everyone, like 2 months go by because of like some, something with regional building wanted to see something or sprinklers or whatever it was. So Bloom's about to open. I was just down the street from there at Dos, the expansion off of Dos Santos, same restaurant group that does White Pie and Dos Santos and some other things. Anyway.
Tacos? Is
Yeah,
that right?
tacos and burritos, breakfast and lunch and dinner. I had some really nice things, which I'll be writing up in a couple weeks to tell everyone about. What else is going on?
I think that's enough.
That's enough. That's a lot. Oh, one more.
Yes.
2 nights ago, I was out on Powers in Palmer Park for Buzzed Crow Bistro.
Okay.
And that is opened in the old Slingers location. Also, which used to be Sarge's.
Oh, yes.
Also, which used to be something before Slingers and something before that. So they're hoping to break that revolving door cycle and be the next thing that sticks. And it's actually based off the 1994 movie The Crow. Brandon Lee.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right. You were alive for that.
I was.
Yeah.
I was old enough to appreciate the Crow.
Right.
Yeah.
So the interesting little tie in there. That's
dark.
actually
That's dark.
it is dark. Yeah, he
Kind of violent.
He died during the filming of
the second one, I think. Was it the first one?
There was only one. Yeah, there was
No,
like
there was a sequel, but it may have been a straight to
Yeah, that
VHS
can't-
kind of
that-
thing.
Oh, did they do a sequel?
I think there is a
Okay.
sequel.
Yeah, but he died in the first one.
Let's
How does
Google
that
machine
theme?
there.
Is a
How does that
sequel,
theme
but He
work?
was shot in the first one.
He was shot in the
was,
first one,
yeah.
but there was a sequel. So
There
it's
was a
not-
sequel.
It's the language is loosely based on. It's they've got a mural with it. Just turns out the owner loves the movie, the GM loves the movie. They needed a name and they went with it. And the menu, has a lot of drinks named Crow something, but it's not actually like
no roasted crow.
there's no roasted crow. There's no yak on the menu either.
Well, there was
but-
no yak in the movie, so that wouldn't make
That's
sense.
true. That's correct. But that actually, that story's already live on our website, so you can go there and check that out. I got some pictures up and a little preview about who they are and what they're up to. So, that's just what's going on with me.
Before we close out, and only because you mentioned this to me before, something about 10-cent beer night last night. Do you want to go into more detail?
Yeah, what's that about?
I only thought, I've always heard people talk about 10-cent beer night. Oh, it's 10-cent beer night. And I thought it was just a figure of speech.
But you found the Holy Grail of...
I thought everybody knew about this. I thought it was another "this Australian doesn't know how America works" thing, and I thought I'd discovered it. But it was about a Cleveland baseball game and then playing against the Rangers, and I heard the whole story. I'm going to have to send you the story.
Okay.
Because it was wild, and I was listening to it, and I was going, Bryan has known this all along and didn't tell me.
I didn't.
They really did. The Cleveland baseball team before they were renamed.
Right.
This is back in the 70s when things were very bad worse in Cleveland. Decided to have a 10-cent beer night for everybody.
Okay.
And the drinking age was 18 back then, apparently. And things went way more pear-shaped than you would think. So I thought I was learning about the genesis of an American phrase. So I excitedly told Bryan about it this morning. I was like, I learned what 10-cent beer night means,
I thought
where
you
it came
had
from.
gone to a 10-cent
I
beer
didn't
night.
go to 10-cent.
And that's why I asked if you were feeling okay. Okay, I thought it was...
Even for
a really
10
good
cents, I
happy hour
wouldn't
in
drink
town.
beer. Yeah, no, you know me better than that.
No.
All
right.
Yeah.
I think we should we could close out with a quiz for you guys. Since you read the story and we included yak facts at the back of the
Yes.
story. Name 2 to 3 yak facts you remember right now.
Yaks don't sweat.
I'd say that one already.
They're not gamey. And they live in Divide.
He's just saying
No,
things
he's
out of
just
the
saying
story.
things out of the story. Bryan failed. Apparently, he did use ChatGPT to do the editing. Helen, do you remember any yak facts from the actual yak fact sidebar we did?
I know the actual yak facts one is difficult. I got stuck on other things that we researched once we read the yak facts.
Nick, I'm going to jump in here and
Gonna
just answer the
fail.
question for them. I'm going to ask and answer the question. So we've got, we've got things like yak racing in other countries. They race yaks.
Oh yeah, I
We don't do
remember
that in Divide that I'm aware of. But
Why not?
in other, we should ask Jessica and Bob about that.
Okay.
We should get into
We have
yak
a long
racing.
list of
With
questions.
riders on their backs. I thought they
Right.
were just setting them off to race, but
I think
they
there's
actually
jockeys.
have riders.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You said there
jockeys.
was.
Right.
Yeah.
If I said it, it's true. 100%. Another yak fact. So they're pack animals. They are used in the Himalayas for pack animals. So they're, these are not just ornamental. They do work that's important for humans.
What if you want an ornamental yak, though?
I believe those are available on Amazon.
Okay.
Yes. Black Friday.
Black
do the
Get the
sale.
6-pack.
Get
Okay.
the 6-pack. Yeah. Different. That since you mention it, in our story you'll see different color of yak. Those are all the same breed, just different colors. They have like some white and brown ones, some black ones.
Blonde,
They're-
brunette, redhead.
Yeah.
Right.
There's one that looks sort of like Chewbacca, but not really. But brown and like really shaggy.
Yeah.
One more yak fact. Yak milk and butter, that's a thing as a commodity. So they'll make like a yak tea that's really nutritious and delicious, I'm told. So maybe someone in town wants to procure yak milk and do yak tea. I don't know. Separate
We-
product, but
Yak
We-
it up.
Definitely
yeah.
wanted to know after we read your yak facts if they moo, and
Helen,
we talked about
we just
this.
established that you
Oh,
didn't
squeak.
read the yak facts, but
We
that's
did-
good.
We did?
You just forgot.
We
That's
tucked
okay.
them away, and
Okay,
we said
okay.
now
This
on
is
to the
so
important
last week,
things.
Matt.
I know, right? Can't remember these things 3 days later. We're journalists. Anyway,
We're on this week's cover. But
That's true.
they squeak and they grunt. They do not moo.
Yeah.
And we had to... You didn't know that yet?
I did not hear any squeaking. I can't say I heard grunting. I did not hear any mooing either. It was actually pretty quiet up there. They just they were just checking us out, and they'd come up for the little treat and step back. I didn't really hear any sounds. What did you read about squeaking? I didn't know about the squeaking.
We just went to the Google and we said what sounds do
We said,
yaks
hey,
make?
Google, make a yak sound.
Yeah, and then we watched several videos.
Oh, really?
But maybe the baby ones squeak, or when they're upset, or if you don't give them treats.
I think they only squeak
But I think they
on-
mostly grunt.
No, I think
right?
they only squeak on 10-cent beer night.
Okay, everybody's going to have to be quiet as soon as this Liberty Mutual ad is over so we can...
Oh, is there a squeaking video you're pulling up?
Yep, so we can...
While you're
Excellent.
bringing up the squeaking yaks, you said that they, like, one of them leapt back a bit, and it's like, that's a muscular cow.
Well, so they're a little skittish. They're cautious of you. So I think I noticed when we were feeding them, they would usually step forward, take the little bite, and then just sort of step back. But if you do any kind of raising up, that sort of makes your arms kind of like horns to them, and it's sort of an aggressive maneuver. And I don't remember which one of us might have just made a move, Jessica or I, but like I did watch one sort of really jump back quick, and they're fast. They can run like 25 or 35 miles an hour, just as fast as grizzly or anything.
They can run that fast.
Like I read 25 miles per hour. Jessica said that they personally clocked them at 35 with their little side by sides, like driving alongside them or whatever.
Wow.
And even this I do know. I can't remember the gestation period, but I do know that right after they're born, they can run like 25 miles per hour within 15 minutes.
Okay.
Which is incredible. Like we can't do that. We can't do anything after we're born except poop ourselves.
Poop,
But,
mostly poop.
Right. Exactly. So they're very agile for their
They
size.
just really don't look agile either. Maybe it's their
No.
jackets, but
It's their emo haircuts.
Yeah,
They
it's-
look
It is the
lazy.
emo haircut. Now, to Nick's question, Nick really wanted to keep saying Yak Attack.
Yeah.
And I told
Yeah.
him I did see there was a T-shirt available in their little retail store that says Yak Attack, and then on the back it says never turn your back on a yak.
Yep.
It's a lot of rhyme scheme. Anyway, I didn't notice that the animals were that like deadly or dangerous. I'm
Right.
sure
Waiting
kind of
for
like
you to
with
turn
horses,
around.
if you're really dumb and you go up behind them and spook them, they can kick you and that's bad. Or in this case, they can gore you with their horns. That would also be bad. But when they're happy animals cared for like these are, and they're used to the ranchers and people around them, they looked very calm, very chill, very docile. Now, not as calm and docile as Pumpkin, the cow,
Pumpkin the
who wanted
cow.
to be pet, but no, they were really. I imagine that's why they're good pack animals too, because they seem like something that were calm enough to lead and walk next to and not get gored accidentally.
Well, before we sign off, let's listen to a yak. It sounds like wind. Yaks sound windy.
That's wind.
Yeah. So we'll bump it up just a little here.
Let's get a mood going here with the wind.
It's very windy in Divide. Oh. It's pretty piggy.
Sounded like a bullfrog.
Is that Helen or is that the yak? I can't tell.
I think that's Helen.
Oh, that's
I'm really good. I've been practicing.
I don't sense an Australian accent, but there's a yak squeak
Okay.
for you, and I think we'll end it
That's
there.
probably the best show you've ever done. Yak sounds included.
We're going to have to sign off
We're done
every
here.
show
This
with
is going
yak
to be hard to
squeaking.
beat this show, guys.
It will. Well, thank you, Matt and Helen, for joining
Yes.
me today in the studio. Don't forget to pick up this week's issue of 6035 News Magazine, available on newsstands and in mailboxes around the city. Check out our website at 6035media.org. If you have anything you'd like to share regarding our podcast, questions or comments, go to podcasts at 6035media.org. 6035 podcasts are listener supported. If you want us to keep doing this, please join others in the community who value our bold, independent, truth-seeking journalism. Become a member. Visit 6035membership.org. That's SIXTY, the number 35, membership.org. This show is directed by Nick Raven, produced by Nick Raven and Dave Gardner, music by Jeremiah Walter. Our digital media specialist is Sean Cassidy. Art director is Dustin Glatz. Interim co-publishers are Ariana Platten and Ralph Roughton. And I'm Bryan Grossman, executive editor. We'll see you next time on the 6035.
The 6035.